Hello guys, this is Rox, and in this series I'm going to make you a better player in Dune Awakening. For this lesson you are gonna learn the essential combat skills that will make you a better fighter. First, let's learn something important about the Holtzman Shield. From the moment you click to fire any ranged weapon, snipers, machine guns, flamethrowers, lasguns, missile launchers, etc., your shield will automatically be turned off and then come back up also automatically around 1 second after you stop shooting. Notice that I said from the moment you click. So imagine you are playing around with a Vulcan, like warming it up, and as you can see, even though I'm not shooting, since I clicked to fire, it automatically turns off my shield. If you use any of your melee weapons, your shield will stay up even while you are attacking. Also, whenever you use your hook, if you notice, your shield turns off as soon as your hook hits a player or the environment. This is to give you maybe an unanswered question you had, like, hey, I had my shield up, why I still took damage? Of course, this is a double-edged sword that you can also take advantage during fights. Like if you see someone aptly shooting, it's your moment to flank and snipe them. Now guys, what I'm going to talk might be a lot of information for you to absorb all at the same time. So remember, you can rewatch the video as a reminder. To be honest, I might do that too. I promise myself that I will make you a better player in this series, so let's begin this lesson. First rule, always turn on your shields, even when you think you are alone. Your shield is what keeps you alive, so no questions asked here. I'm joking, if you have a question just ask me. The only exception where you want to turn off your shield is when you are collecting spice or floor sound, as your shield attracts the worm. But of course, if someone starts shooting at you, turn on your shield and call the worm. Second rule, make sure you check your gear status, like your gear durability, if you have enough heals, if you have bullets, and you can always carry with you a spare suspensor, as it's super lightweight. Third rule guys, stamina is key, and for most one of the hardest things to master. Always keep an eye on your stamina, as you need stamina to dodge, to use your abilities, and to use your melee attacks. I'm gonna leave you 2 tips here guys for stamina. You can train alone in your base, like do 1 dodge or 2 dodges and see how many hits you can do after it, like do a couple hits and use your hook close to the ground to pretend it's an enemy or something. As a simple training like this can send silent information to your brain, so it is like you are learning stamina management without even noticing. Sorry if my words sometimes are not the best, as I'm not native English guys. Another tip for stamina guys, to start recovering stamina you just need to do a brief pause, as a brief pause like this is enough for you to start recovering stamina. And then you can move while recovering stamina, as long as you move without sprinting. Because if you sprint, your stamina will stop regenerating. And if it happens that you need to sprint, then you just need to do a brief pause again and you start recovering stamina again. Or simply, you already found cover and you are standing still. A quick note guys, as you see, my gear is all green, except the Rapier because, to be honest, I was a bit lazy to craft a green Rapier. And my skills are all mixed up in purpose, so nothing special like in gear or in the build itself. Yet you will see how effortlessly you can solo the content by applying a bit of everything you are gonna learn here, together with the last video about tier list of the best weapons to use against each enemy. This means that you can do even better with a better gear and a better build. The importance of Handheld Scanners. This tool right here acts like your personal bodyguard. Not helping you in combat directly, but by using it, it will help you by providing you valuable intel. Because when you are using this, you can spot the enemies ahead if they are camping or preparing an ambush against you. This will also show you where the enemies are and where they are moving. 2 curious facts about the scanner. 1 is that you can only hear it super closely. And 2, the enemy cannot see your scanning area, and vice versa. You can parry the heavy attacks, which are the red glowing attacks from melees. Just time it and parry. Surroundings awareness. With this, I mean having your eyes open to not be caught off guard, not only by NPCs, but always to keep an eye out for players. For NPCs, you simply have to look like to your sides or to your back, but for the player's part, even though this will change in the future as stations will be instanced, You'll also have to keep an eye on the entrances/exits, as this is the way in for the players to come. And this awareness is not only visual. You'll also have to pay attention to the sound itself. The easiest example for this would be someone shooting a missile launcher, and you know NPCs don't shoot missile launchers, so even though you didn't see the player yet, you know you are not alone. And finally, you have to pay attention to environmental hazards. Let's pretend I didn't see this inflammable right here, and as you can see, I took explosion damage because I didn't pay attention. Tactical cover. Take advantage of covers while you are fighting, even if you have to move a bit to go behind cover, or crouch behind a low wall so you can heal, reload, or simply do an area scanning so you know where your enemies are. Target priority. Your priority number 1 will be splitted into 3, and here things are situational, according to your position at that time. The snipers should die first, however if you are covered, you are fine. Most of the times you can even leave them for a second or third place in priority depending on your position, as the melees can be your first target priority most of the times, and thankfully they are easy to deal with, especially if you apply these tricks I will tell you in a second. And your other target priority are obviously the shieldless NPCs, but only if you catch them alone, since they are easy to kill, but they will also kill you easily, especially if they are not alone. The trick to kill melees easily is the following. If it's just one of them, well, it's easy for you, you just parry and do heavy attacks. If you are using the sword, it releases a shockwave whenever you parry. This is what people call an AoE parry, an area of effect parry, as this will let you stagger multiple enemies in a small area 360 around your character. And every time you parry, you can land an heavy attack in one of them, then wait for another parry and repeat until all melees are dead. Keep in mind that if there is plenty of them, your stagger might not reach all of them, so before doing the heavy attack, check if they all got staggered. Else you might need to do a second parry, and only then you do an heavy attack. You can also do a parry, and then you hook the missing one that didn't got staggered, and then do a heavy attack on him if you are quick. So imagine it's 4 enemies, you do a parry and you stagger 3 of them, you can hook the 4th if he is close, and then do an heavy attack on him. Now if you prefer to use the rapiers or the knives, if it's 2 enemies, it's also super easy. But patience is key. You will have 3 big opportunities to kill 2 melees. First scenario is if they come splitted, like a bit far from each other. Pretty simple, you just have to do a parry and an heavy attack. Second scenario is to wait for them to attack you in purpose, and here you wanna parry both of them. You parry the first, you will get staggered, and then you parry the second and do an heavy attack on that second parry. Then you move back a little bit and repeat the scenario 1 or scenario 2. And your third scenario here is obviously you can take advantage of your abilities, like you can parry one of them and then hook the other and then do an heavy attack on him. And then you just apply the scenario 1 or scenario 2 again. Easy peasy. Now if it's 3 or more of them, here you run away. Might sound silly, but that's the tactic. You run away, get some distance, and what usually happens is the following. Either they manage to come together and here you run away again, or they will come splitted, and that's what you exactly wanted. And for those cases you just have to apply the 3 scenarios I mentioned before. So 1 or 2 you can easily defeat them, and 3 or more you have to run to split them. One curious fact guys, even though swords have advantage in AoE parries and also do higher damage, they allow the NPCs to dodge more often. Which is also fine since it's much easier to stagger them, especially if they are in groups. But for rapiers and knives, because of their attack speed, they give less chances to the NPCs to dodge after getting parried. I think this was a mechanic to make the melee weapons more balanced. But in the end, just pick your favorite. Strategical Withraw / Power Awareness. During a fight, especially when you are inevitably receiving damage, you have to take a look to your power bar, as when you are about to get your power depleted, your shield will break, and you can die pretty fast. Your shield will eventually turn back on automatically, but only after your power bar fills up completely. How fast it fills up, it's connected to your power regeneration. So having this skill right here to increase your power regeneration, and also this skill right here to increase your power pool, are both mandatory to have in any build. So whenever you are in a sticky situation and your power is about to go down, you can do a strategically withdraw. Even if the target is close from dying, your priority is your life. So you have to run from there. Use an ability if you need to protect yourself. Take cover, heal, and wait a bit for your power to regenerate. A note here guys, if your shield breaks, it will take a bit more time for your power to start regenerating. It's like a punishment. So ideally, you really want to regen your power before it breaks. I'm sure everyone already noticed this, but this is important to mention. Bandaging stops bleeding, poison, and burning. And also medkits, of course. But bandages are easy to craft and are your lifesavers at the end of the day. Know which weapons to use against each target. That's why I made the weapon tier list video against each enemy. So for the case you didn't check it out, go check it out. Because knowing which weapons to use against each enemy can be the difference from life and death. Very simple logic here guys. Shield breaking weapons or damage over times like poison, burning and bleeding, you use them against shielded NPCs or players, and high ground damage weapons against non-shields. And melees work very well overall. The importance of high ground. You should have high ground whenever possible. It makes it harder for the NPCs and the players to hit you and gives you a better line of sight. It's like if you are in high ground, you can see the whole body of the player or NPC that's below you. While if you are in low ground, you can only see, for example, from shoulders to head. So your hitbox is better when you are in high ground. When multiple NPCs are chasing you, use obstacles and the environment to break their line of sight, so you will reset them instead of brute forcing. A simple crouch can be the difference from stopping an enemy from attacking you, simply because they lost you from their line of sight. Also, simple curves around the map or covers can break their line of sight, and sometimes it even gives you time to breathe and heal. A note here guys, there are bugged walls in the game. I don't know why, but sometimes the shots will simply pass through the walls. Obviously, these will get fixed over the time, so for the case that you see the bullets passing through the cover where you are hiding, simply find another cover. If you think this is helping you or other people, please leave a like and subscribe. Positive and negative. Let's imagine a sand dune. If you see the player on top of the dune or in front of the dune, it means the player is in the positive side of it. However, if the player goes behind the dune, he is now in the negative side, and this can be dangerous, as this player can move while he's in the negative side to flank you or surprise you. The negative side also excels in taking cover from attacks. Weapon swapping. Sometimes when you are making a trade, and a trade basically means shooting bullets at each other, like trading bullets. Switching to another weapon instead of reloading can be the best option, especially if you are certain you'll get the kill, since in most cases it will be faster than reloading, since there are weapons and abilities that allow you to reload extremely fast, and for those cases it's fine to simply continue shooting. The importance of sound. I spoke about the sound a little bit before, but let's go a tiny bit deeper. During combat, visual is extremely important, of course, but so it's also the sound itself. So ears open to weapon reloads, weapon sounds, suspensors, abilities, shoppers are extremely obvious, etc. And even more subtle things like a simple jump can give away your position. But of course, don't forget there is a handheld tool to spot you, and also the spies, but we'll get there in a moment. Take advantage of the dumb NPCs. The NPCs can be smart, but sometimes they can be extremely dumb, and their brains stop functioning. For those moments when an NPC simply stops as he forgot how to take a step, don't move and shoot them from a distance. They will eventually start moving again after receiving some damage, but you'll get some free shots or even a free kill. Cooldown Tracking. Pretty obvious, but it's nice to remember and keep an eye on your cooldowns. Remember, you can buy time with shotguns, both of them, drill shots and GRDA 44s, as they can stagger the enemies while you recover cooldowns. Or when you are safe and sound, like you have time to breathe, to heal, to reload, regen your power and your stamina, you are also recovering your cooldowns. And knowing your cooldowns is just a basic step. And now try to keep other people and NPCs cooldowns in your head, as that will let you know when their abilities should be ready again, more or less. But more importantly, will help you know when you have a punishing window. A punishing window is when your target did a mistake, and it can happen by an accident, or he messed up, or you forcing him to make a mistake. This means he will be in a weaker state. But everything is situational, and every fight is different. And keep in mind, calling them weaker states is not exactly a weaker state, as by using your abilities you are trying to put yourself at advantage. But using them wrongfully, like a bad timing for example, is a mistake. And when that happens, you will know your target can't use that ability during a certain time. And that's a punishing window. And when that happens, you will know your target can't use that ability during a certain time. And that's where you can use certain abilities or specific weapons to punish them for committing a mistake. I also want to add something a bit deeper to this. Your abilities are not only to put yourself at advantage, as sometimes it's okay to put yourself and the target in both disadvantages. But you still know that you can grab yourself a win despite giving yourself a disadvantage too. Let me give you an example. If you landed a good sniper shot on a target, or like a heavy melee hit, you know his HP is low. And if your HP is high, it's fine to apply poison, burning, explosions to both of you at the same time, as you will survive because you have the most HP. Grenades or throwables. Many players underuse grenades or throwables. Even if they are weak, or even if they take time to explode, they are great for forcing movement, finishing a low health NPC or player, or breaking cover, as a player's instinct will be to automatically run away from an explosive. Very few players, the more experienced ones, might not dodge if they have excellent control over their shield/HP/build. It's like, if I take this grenade, I will receive this damage, but I will still keep my position and still be on cover, so I'll receive less damage than exposing myself. But, on the other side, the other players can also push towards you. I cannot say if the best case for you is to move or to stay in cover, as everything is situational and depends in your position, depends in the target position, depends in your HP, etc, etc. That's one of those unpredictable and fun sides of gaming. Speaking of covers, psychological pressure in PvP. Sometimes just shooting at a cover or picking aggressively makes an opponent panic, and this leads to wasting heals, mismanaged stamina, or waste an ability. So, apply pressure. The Spice buff. The spice in the game basically turns you into a complete beast, as a series of things happen whenever you sniff the spice. When you use the spice, you will instantly get full HP. When you are in the Prescience state, you deal more damage, receive more heals, your cooldowns are shorter, your passive spice skills are activated, you are immune to poison damage, can see the target status, and even gain wall axe. This means you'll be able to see the enemies behind the walls, but also see the HP they have left. As you can see, spice is like you are on steroids. After your spice effect ends, you'll enter in a spice cooldown, let's say. And after that cooldown passes, you can start fill up the bar in a very slow rate by simply playing the game, or simply by consuming spice melange foods to fill your bar much faster. Some foods will fill your bar faster than others, but are more expensive to craft. Escape plan / cornering yourself. Although it's pretty obvious, in the middle of chaotic situations you might end up cornering yourself without noticing. And if that happens, getting swarmed by enemies can easily be your death, as you will simply not be able to get out of there alive most of the times, as you'll be stuck. And of course, I'm sure you have heard the term, always have a backup plan. For this game, if you are fighting in open desert, that's easy as you can escape from any direction. But if you are inside buildings, keeping track of where the exit door is not a bad idea. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.
Remember your lessons, and the door to the future will open.
Consider leaving a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Rox is out.